Hello everyone. So I think we are now live, and a warm welcome to you all. So one of the first things that I want to talk about for the AI paper here, and yeah, let's get a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me all right, and if you can't, then I will try to adjust settings. Everyone. So I think we are. But if there is a problem, leave a chat in the comment, and also leave any questions you might have in the comments. Let's go to the Streamlabs. All right, we are looking good here. So this is the mini, which is an 8.4-inch screen, and this is the large, which is 10.65, and it's the new Carta 1300 screen. So I'm going to kind of quickly go over the differences between these two. So like I mentioned, this is a Carta 1300. This is a Carta 1000, and it is 300 ppi, or I think it's 297, and this is 300 ppi. So the resolution is quite similar. Now, one of the big differences is if I go here to, let's display capture. All right, yep. So if we go to the AI paper mini here, and we go to the specs down here, you'll see that it is Carta 1000. So it is older display tech, but generally it still looks pretty good. One of the biggest noticeable things though is because it has a front light, I'll turn it on so you can see that, the actual pen to paper distance is much greater. It's almost double. If you look here, it's 1400 micrometers, and on the Viwoods large version, or the Carta 1300 version, it is 750 micrometers. And in terms of the internals, they are pretty much identical. The AI paper is going to be significantly lighter by about 140 grams. And the pens are exactly the same. We'll get a little bit more into the pens later, and I do have a few things to say about them. Let's just check we are live here. Yeah, we are live. Okay, cool. Let me go back to this here. Now, one of the first things that I wanted to talk about in terms of the kind of differences is probably the battery life. So if you look here, the battery life I've noticed is a little bit better on the large version. And now I don't know if that comes down to the fact that I end up using the front light more on the mini, or if that's just because it has a larger battery. But that is something to note, that when you have it on lighter settings like this, like 4, probably in this video right now, you can't even tell it's on. But if I really kind of crank it, then you will be able to see that. It goes from 0 all the way up to 20. So I'll turn it off for now, because we don't really need it. And let's get this guy back on. All right. Now, in terms of the pen, the first thing I want to talk about is, like, if we go into the actual booklet here, the folio, there is a little release part here. Actually, let me do it on the big one, because I have not broken that one in yet. And what you can do is you can kind of just use the nib here and find the hole and then pull it out like that, right? So this is a pretty clever system. I haven't seen that on any other actual like tablet like this, but right now I have the hard nib here. It's probably more like a palm style nib, and this one is longer lasting, so I've been using it a lot more. Now the bottom part here, it's a little lower than on the mini one because the folio's much smaller, but these are easy to actually pop in and out, and you can do them by hand. You don't need a little extraction tool like most other ones. Now this is kind of a plus and a minus, because I've noticed that, like, I've actually on the mini, because the pen sits here and is lower to the bottom, I think I threw it on the couch once and it must have hit the couch on the nib and it popped out. Luckily I searched for it for a little while and I found it, but that is a positive that you can change it on the fly, but also a negative that it might be easier for it to actually pop out. And weirdly enough, I've had the large one for much longer, but I've never had it pop off on this one. And these metal tips actually feel a little harder to take out. And these are the metal tips with the nib that is softer. We'll talk a little bit more about that on the actual device, but it does deform a lot. So there are times when it kind of bends to a point where it doesn't bend back. You'll have to like push down on it to actually bend it back to shape. But yeah, that's essentially the nibs here. And so I'll keep a soft one in here. We'll throw the hard one back here. And let's see, we got a chat. Does tilt work normally with third-party EMR pens? I have heard on Goody Reader that there are problems with that. Third party. Okay. So what I can do is I have the Remarkable pen here. Let me grab this. And we will go. Thanks for the questions on this, Ed. So we'll go to, let me just go to this file here. We'll open a new page. So this is a titanium nib. These generally don't have the best tilt support in general, but let's go to the pen, or pencil, sorry. We'll go to a thicker one so you can see. So this, like I said, they don't have the best tilt support in general. I can grab my Remarkable to normal pen, but it's in the back there. So I will try it out at the end maybe. I can go run and get it quickly. But what's your other? I have RMPP, but I want to also try monochrome e-ink device. Do you think Viwoods is a good choice? Don't really care about note-taking features. Mostly do sketches and doodles on e-inks. Honestly, Zenless Zed, if you already have a device right now, that means you're not really in a rush for it. I think that if you're sketching, I mean, sketching is good on here. Like, I did a whole video about sketching on here. And I was actually, surprisingly pleased with it. This is a little turtles drawing I did. And I can kind of show you some sketching here. Let's go to like a medium here. But let's say his leg, looks like I didn't really finish his leg very well here. So that tilt support's nice. That's something that you will not get on the Paper, or sorry, not the Paper Pro. Something you will not get in the Supernote platform is you don't get tilt support. But what they do have is, like I'll show you here on my Nomad. And this might take a second to turn on because I have it off. But when this boots up, the tilt support, and by the way, this soft nib is much better for sketching on this than the hard nib here. But, one thing is they don't have tilt support with the ceramic nibs here. But what you can do is, even though you have the lack of tilt support, is because they have so many different types of pen shadings, and pen hardnesses, you can get that, you can simulate tilt, basically. And I can show you that in a second when this boots up. But one thing I do like a lot on this, and maybe this is a good segue into this next point, is the shape snapping and stuff. So, we got an eraser here. You can erase some of this stuff. And there's some cool features, right? So you can do diagonal, like ovular or elliptical shapes. You can do complete circles, and you can do pretty much any shape. So let me do like a kind of like a parallelogram. I guess it's not much of a parallelogram, but you get the point. So you can create by freehand any shape that you can think of, and you can actually do kind of complex shapes. So if I did like this, I know that's not a nice shape, but I'm just showing you the randomness there. It will actually snap to that. And hold on, the lighting's not the best here. Let me move it over a bit. There we go. And so there are other things too, like the line functions. And I'll show you on this chart actually. So hold on, we got another question here. I ordered the mini, but instead of getting in October as planned, and they told me final November. What differences did you find between the mini and normal? Okay, I will, Sister Parfums, I will get to that in a second. I just want to show some of the shape stuff here. Also, can you guys hear me okay? Someone drop in the chat if everything's running fine and everything's in focus too. Let me see. That looks like a little more focus. All right. So what I was saying about the lines, right? Let me get to a fine liner. Right. If I go here and hold, it will do perfect lines. But then the cool thing too is if you tap a finger on here, it will do increments. So I think it does like 15-degree increments, and that's 45, right? So that would be 60, 75, 90. And then that makes it easy to create perfectly geometric shapes, right? So you can see I started a little bit above this, so it's going to a little bit there. But if I'd started perfectly there and went there, then it would get right into that point right there. And you can also do like let's do this shape, right? And once that snaps, you can turn it into a little arrow like that, which is kind of a neat function. Just gives it like I can't tell you how many times on my Nomad I've drawn arrows and like tried to make them perfect, and it's just kind of like a time suck. But yeah, so you can do those shapes, and for that too, you could do the 45, 90-degree angle type thing. Sister Parfums, you hear me? Cool. Thanks for the feedback. And so yeah, anyways, what was I getting to? Okay, so in the drawing, like the tilt support, you can let's shade this a little bit, right? So maybe this one over here, and you can see this one I did some irregular lines, so I can do 2-point shapes. And let's do like a kind of hard shading here, harder on the outside, and then like pretty light here. Yeah, so you can get pretty good gradation. Let me get this part really nice and dark, this quadrant, and fade that out here a bit. So I don't know if that's coming across camera, but pretty fun to play with the shading on here. I find it, you know, Zenless Z, if you have the Remarkable Paper Pro, I would say it's within the same realm of that. I can show you something I was working on the other day. So Zenless, I'm curious, have you been drawing on the Paper Pro here? This the dithering is kind of what I've been playing around with the most. I guess I shouldn't put my password on the screen. I'll hide it a little bit. I wish they really had put a fingerprint sensor on this. All right, so yeah, I was playing with some drawing here. Oop, I guess my battery's kind of low. Yeah, so I was playing with like the dithering here, which is, I guess, the equivalent of shading with color, right? And I was working on these sunglasses, and I made a community post about this. Oh yeah, Sister Parfums. It'll be it should be recorded, so you can watch it after if you missed it. But the dithering on here is really good, and I found the black and white shading to be pretty similar to the actual Viwoods AI paper. The one thing that's very different from the Paper Pro is the contrast on the Carta 1300 screen. So if I go, here you can see like the really big difference between the light, the dark, and the actual white of the paper. And here as well, between some of this contrast and these spots. If you want a little side reference here, I will show you. So you can, let me turn this off actually, and pop this. Love this feature, by the way, this little flap. That's something that the Viwoods kind of nailed too. They have the feature where you can lift this, you can pop the pen out, and then this will hide under and tuck away. Not as elegant as Remarkable's solution, but technically they did it first, and it works well, right? Because then you can still get your pen on there if you don't have the loop in, and when you're traveling, you're not going to lose this thing. It's going to stay locked in there. But anyway, so let me get them in a little bit better light here. Right here. You can kind of see, let me get my shadow out of the way. So you can see right here, this is probably the lightest part on the screen. You can see the difference between, sorry, the shadow reflections here aren't the best. This isn't my normal recording setup. But you can see here how much grayer it is than the white on the Viwoods. Hopefully that's coming across on video. But so one of the things I've found is the actual like contrast on here for just black and white sketching, which is primarily what I kind of have been doing or have done in the past, like charcoal and just graphite sketching. This is just nicer, but I am enjoying a lot the color aspect and like kind of playing around with that on the Remarkable Paper Pro. All right, we got another question here. Yeah, it's endless. The Paper Pro's a great device. It's pretty unique, in the market right now. The Viwoods is like I said, solid for sketching. I think that if you're just going to be sketching though, I think you might find Atelier a little bit better, and maybe the pens. Some of my gripes about the pen on the Viwoods, and like I said, we'll try out later maybe a non-EMR and see how the actual shading is. Unless, let me see, how many people are on right now? If it's just you two, there's 7 people. All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to grab my Remarkable pen. I'll be back in like 10 seconds. The normal Remarkable pen, and then I will show you what that's like on the Viwoods here. But really quickly, I will leave you with the Atelier app here. Let's see what my last drawing was. Yoshi. All right, I'll be right back. 1 second. Alrighty, so Zenless, I have the Remarkable standard kind of felt graphite tip here. So you can do the fingerprint login. And let's go back to this this page here that we were doing. Actually, let's go to a blank page so you can see actual pressure sensitivity. So we're on the pencil. Go to the thickest. So this is a third-party EMR pen. I swear I'm pressing super light here. It does get super dark. Now let's go back to the Viwoods and I'll show you the difference. Yeah, I mean Zenless, it's the Remarkable pen at least is nowhere near the amount of gradation that you can get here, right? You can see that's a pretty smooth transition. Here I was really struggling with it. That was with the soft tip. So here, that's the soft tip. And now here we'll go with the harder tip. Oh, interesting. I guess the harder tip is a little bit harder to get that soft. Yeah, you can kind of get it. Yeah, you can get it. So the tips, the both tips on the actual Viwoods paper are the same, I would say. This is the, was it hard? And one thing that I will notice on the pen, and I mentioned this in I think Jeffrey Moss's video yesterday where he's been doing some content on it. I don't know if you can really see, but the enamel has started peeling on this Viwoods pen. So I don't think it's a big deal because I can just peel it all off and it'll probably still work fine. But that's definitely an oversight. There's no reason that the actual enamel on this should be peeling off. This one's newer because it came with the mini here, but that is a bit of an oversight, I think. But like I said, not going to be an issue because I'm just going to peel it off altogether and it will still work. And the part that is peeled off, it still can erase fine, you know. The other thing is with the button, you can just press the button and do kind of finer erasing, which I only realized a couple weeks ago, but that's been nice. And so Zenless, also like what I was saying about Atelier. So if I go back to the menu here, you have all the hardness of the pens, which, you know, you can start off super light. I'm in the wrong layer, hold on. Let's hide Yoshi. Okay, so like here, I can get a really light, like initial part of the shading like that. And then let's go to a couple of steps more. I can start to get some harder. And I mean, you could go like even here, 2H, I could go in between here. And so the one downside of Atelier, I think right now, is that they don't have the brush width. So you can't adjust the size of that, which I'm really hoping they update when the A5X2 comes out. I'm hoping that they make a really big Atelier push because, like I mentioned on a live stream the other day with the E-Team, this has been out for almost a year now. I think coming in December, Atelier will be 1 year old. And they've only made like bug fixes. They haven't made any big updates like that. But so that's yeah. Anyways, Zenless, I think if you want it just for sketching, I recommend the A5X2. But like I said, with the standard pen, this is also pretty good for sketching. And the stylus and the tip isn't bad. But if you press hard, then I don't think the actual soft tip is best for you. I think you'd be better off with the hard tip. All right, now back to Sister Parfum's question. So you were asking like what differences have I noticed between the mini and the large version? Well, the mini is really like a sweet spot, I think, of sizing, because let me pop the Nomad out here. In terms of the casing, you'll see it's pretty much exactly like in every direction. It's exactly the same size as the Nomad. And if I put it to the side, you'll see the screen is a little bit taller and a little bit wider. So that's the there, and then there's lined up. So it's like, this is 7.8, this is 8.4. This is like really a nice like travel sweet spot as well, because it also has the backlight, or front light, sorry. I've found that like when doing reading stuff, it's just a good travel companion, because this, you know, if I'm on a plane or on a train sometimes, I normally carry my e-reader, which is my pocketbook, you know, InkPad Color 3, and that has a front light, so I can read that. So if I travel and I want to be like really not taking much, I'll take the Nomad and that, and that's two devices. Whereas with the AI, I feel like I could take just this device, because I do get the pretty good note-taking aspect in terms of, you know, organization, and I do get the front light, which is nice for when you're reading books, or here's a comic, for example. There's a little Dragon Ball Z. And I can also show you, oh, we activated the AI here by accident. So I can show you here in the mini, let's see. I want to go, actually I'm going to show you in the large. So one thing is like Libby. The biggest thing I've noticed is probably the contrast. The Carta 1300 screen is like really, really amazing. And it also just feels like things are on the surface of the screen. Like I showed you earlier, let me go to the desktop here again. So if I go here, you can see the actual pen to paper distance is 1400, right? And on the Viwoods AI, it's the large, it's 750, which is much, like literally half. And so that's noticeable because of that front light, and probably because of the screen technology too. I'm assuming the Mobius screen. That's another thing. The feel of writing on here is softer on the Carta 1300 Mobius, whereas the glass, you can see here that this is a glass screen, glare if you're reading. But also, let's see the battery. So the battery is 2450 on the mini and 4100 on the large. But like I was saying, because you use a front light, you might get a little more draw on this in general. And yeah, the actual feel, hopefully you can hear it. Let me move closer so you can hear the sound. This is with the soft, or the hard nib. This is the soft nib. So anyways, Libby is like the contrast, and I think I can apply the contrast filter here so I can show you. So let's go minimum contrast here, right? Very soft. And then let's go to the mid. We'll go at 10. Pretty good. You can see the darks and the lights. And then let's go to maximum. So was it 14? That it's very dark, but it gets so dark that you're starting to lose a little bit of the contrast. Like everything is almost too dark where the lights aren't showing as much. So I think a nice sweet spot is kind of contrast in the like maybe 8 range, right there. And let's see, we got some more questions. That's exactly where I went for the mini, for the compact and including Kindle app. I love my Remarkable 2, but hate traveling with it. Yeah, so Sister Perfumes, I think you're going to be happy. Like I said, there aren't actually many, like there's a lot of 7.8 inch devices, and there's a lot of 10.3s, like the Remarkable 2. Oh, sorry, oh my god, sorry guys, I was on the wrong camera, my bad. One second. Oh, is the camera off? There we go. My bad, guys. So what let me redo that part really quickly. So what I was showing is, hopefully you heard the difference, but the contrast filter, if I show here, the light, so this is the lightest contrast filter. You can see everything's a little washed out. And here's like a medium. You can see it pretty good. And then the maximum contrast right here. You can see then it's a little too dark, like I was saying. So I'm gonna leave it here. Sorry about that. I was on my web browser when I was showing you that. But yeah, like Sister Perfumes, what you're saying, the 7.8 and the 10.3 are the most dominant kind of sizes in the market. And like you said, the 10.3 is a little big sometimes for traveling. So certainly this is going to be maybe a little big for you too. But that being said, it is significantly thinner So this is, remember, this is a folio. It starts right here. You can see I have it lined up on the side here. It is a lot thinner than the Remarkable 2, but it is only like a centimeter or two smaller in terms of the height. So this is a tiny bit smaller, but still nothing, not nearly as portable as something like this. And like I was saying, we have 7.8s, we have 10.3s, but one of the things we really don't have is this like 8.4. I'd even like to see some like 9-inch devices, maybe 9.5. That would be just way easier to travel with. This is that sweet spot because, like I said, it's exactly the same size as the Nomad, which I've been using for 8 months already and is one of my favorite travel companions. And my Pocketbook InkPad Color 3 is also 7.8, but this is 8.4. So for reading, I don't think it makes that much of a difference. It might make a little bit of a difference when you're reading comics, because if you read comics, you know that sometimes they don't scale perfectly, and so you do need to do a little zoom in. Whereas ebooks, you can scale the size of the text throughout the whole book. So 7.8 versus 8.4 is not going to be that different. But when you are reading comics, or especially when you're note taking, it gives you that little bit of extra real estate where it is nice. It's a really good size. I think the 8.4 is becoming my new favorite like travel size. Okay, we got some more questions here. So let's see. Yeah, I thought about Supernote, but the screen is darker, and this on Supernote and RMPP already have kind of hard tip stylus. I'm gonna try something with soft tip. Got you. Yeah, Zenless, this is a soft tip. Yeah, the RMPP is a pretty hard tip. You get that kind of like tap tap sound. But I will say, on these devices, I have not been using the soft tip as much. That might be because I only have 2 replacements for them. So I'm like, I don't want to wear through them. I probably need to buy some more, but I don't know if you can buy them on their website yet. I do need to get more. But anyways, the actual like small version, I don't know. If I had to have one of these, I feel like because Carta 1300 is so new, I would still want this one because I'm just loving the screen. But in like the long term, like a lot of devices are going to start coming out with this. So I'll have like the A5X2, that'll be a great device. So I think I would actually probably end up using this more, just because the front light for reading and like comics and stuff, and the travel size for note taking, which like I do that currently on the Nomad, but like I mentioned, sometimes it is a little dark to use the Nomad, so that is a compromise sometimes. And then, hello, how does HOM2 pen write on AI paper? I ask because I find the Viwoods pen with both nibs to be slippery. All right, well, we're gonna risk it all. Technically you should not do this because it is a glass screen and a Mobius screen. This is definitely riskier, but I'll try it very lightly. So I'm gonna guess, based on like the Feel Right 2 I put on my HM, and these don't have tilt support, right? So the pencil. Actually, no. Oh, that's actually pretty good. Let me do a bigger one so you can see. So I'm just trying to do some light shading. And this is the Heart of Metal 2 pen, if people don't know what this is. It's a Supernote pen, and it is a ceramic nib. So you can get shading. I can get pretty light here too. But I don't think that's as good. Let me just try the standard Viwoods pen, just as a reference. Yeah, actually I'm really surprised with that. It seems to have tilt support. So yeah, maybe that's just a thing of the Supernote platform. But these are pretty similar, I would say. So I'll try it really quickly here. So I do want to show you something here about like sketching on the Viwoods. and this is one of the ways I've really been enjoying it, is that this is Libby, for example. So it's like a live magazine that I'm pulling up. Let me get it out of the light here a little bit. And so in the corner here, if you drop down from the corner, you have the option to crop. And this is global, so you can do this on anything you're looking at in the Viwoods software. So you have the crop function, you have the annotate, and you have a record function. So right now I'm just going to show you the annotate function, but like I can then, choose the pen here. And what's cool is this is an actual art. And once you do this, it takes a snapshot. So I think you lose the ability to like zoom in and pan like you would normally. But it's just cool because then I can start practicing these sketches that are kind of like instructionals. And I can do it right on the paper. And then, I can actually just save that. So I can save that into like a picking, I think it goes to. And then back in the option here of the main menu, this picking area, I can then see those sketches and kind of practice. I think I was playing around the other day. I think there's a way to actually extract that part. But let's get back to some questions. I read using APK, but don't know what I need to tape on YouTube demonstration. Thanks. Yeah, Sister Parfums is actually that's actually an interesting question, because I was on a live stream with Kit, and he had showed me that he had like F-Droid and APK, one of the downloads. I have them on here, I think. Aurora, that's the one he used. And then I was like researching, and I couldn't really find like where to actually install it. But I am an Android user, so I was like, well, let me just try to do it from the browser. So I did that. I went to Chrome. I think I just typed in the F-Droid. Actually, yeah, this is the last one I used. So F-Droid, and then I just downloaded. So you can download, and I'll re-download it just so you can see what it's like. So it's initiating download, and then when it's done, you can basically open it here. See, and then you can update it. Well, this would be an update. It's the same app, but it would ask to install. So let's just, for example, play along here. Okay, so app installed, open, right? And then I can go to F-Droid. F-Droid's much more limited. I think they have like, they only have view all connectivity, like 200, 100, 400 for different things. So what you're better off doing is then going in here, searching, and then actually just type in, and this will show you a little bit of the typing speed. So Aurora store, download that, and so you can see I already have it installed. So I'm just going to open it actually. But the Aurora store, verifying session, and this is all in real time, so you'll see requesting new session. Tasha, thanks for joining. Let's see, it says, I'm not surprised because reading in the big one was not for me too at all. I tried on the Scribe, tried on ARM2, but needed a more compact all-in-one item. Yeah, no, I agree with you. The larger size is nice. Like the Kindle Scribe I like in the split view, where I can have like one page and one page, and I find it like that, but I never really find that the 10.2 size I'm more drawn to than like a 7.8. Because you can scale that, I actually like the ability to like have it in one hand, and like on my pocketbook I have buttons here so I can quickly tap them, whereas the Scribe doesn't really have that. All right, so anyways, Sister Parfums, we're in the Aurora store now, and this has like an amazing amount of apps. You can see it's got all the big ones, and you can pretty much get almost anything you wanted in here. You could also get like probably the nice cars. Oh, was that on the web page? Oh yeah, another thing. So I'm in the App Store right now, right? So I can go, just like Android, you have all your apps here. So let's close the settings app, for example. Let's close the pickings app, and let's close F-Droid. And this is what you're referring to. And so maybe that's a good transition here, actually. Let's, on the Chrome browser, let's turn the contrast down because it's really high, you can see. So it looks pretty good. And confirm. And then what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you some of the reading modes. So I'll scroll. This is the regular. This is the best display. So it looks the crispest. Or yeah, you can see. And then I'm going to go to the next mode, the fast mode. And by the way, this is almost identical on these, on the mini and the large. But you can see now it scrolls a little bit faster. But there is a little bit of like, let's go back. Oops, so I think I clicked on something. So you can see it's smoother, right? But there's a little bit more of granularity. You're definitely not gonna be able to see this, but just from my eyes, there's some granularity in like the grays. The text still looks pretty clear. And then when you do go, but what you can do is you can play around with contrast. So in the fast mode, I can increase the contrast and like have the text appear sharper. So then I'm kind of balancing it and getting the best of both worlds, where I can now like smoothly scroll and it still looks pretty good. So when I use like Libby, or if I'm going through like web pages, I would probably use the middle mode. I think this is like the fast mode's like a nice sweet spot. You'll see the ultra fast is, it's very quick. I can scroll super fast, but then it does get a lot more gray. So I think I would use this. Maybe if I was scrolling through like a really big web page, I would use the ultra fast mode. But I think if you're just doing web stuff, the fast mode is plenty good. And then if you're reading like a PDF or a comic or something like that, I think that mode is sufficient. Yeah. I will here. I'll type in the chat right now. F-Droid. That is my other account. So F-Droid is basically just an installer, and then from F-Droid you can do Aurora. I'll type that too. Aurora Store, and that will Aurora Store will give you. So like you need F-Droid to download Aurora Store, I think. Unless you found the Aurora Store APK, then you could probably just install that. But that's how I did it. That's how Kid had done it. So I kind of copied what he did. But yeah, that should be the best way to get any app you want on here. That is not, well, this does not have Google Play support. So you will need to download them automatically. And these are the kind of, besides these four, these are the pre-installed apps that are optional here. That I used. I feel like I used most of them. I didn't use the Marvel, but Libby comes pre-installed on here. New York Times, all that. It has a pretty good kind of store here. So, any more questions before I kind of move on to another topic? And yeah, going into I was just talking about PDFs. So PDFs look great. I'm in the best display mode here. You can see it's nice and crisp, and you can just start annotating right on the spot. I wonder if the shape snapping works here. Okay, so that is one thing. The shape snapping does not work in the PDF actual experience here, but let's try it. Let's try a straight line. Nope. And the double tapping. Oh, interesting. Okay. So this is a little more rudimentary in the PDF annotation. So like one thing I didn't show in the actual note taking. Right, so let me lasso this and we will delete it. And then let me go to this here. So this is the fine liner. Okay. And so what you can do is like the remarkable, you can tap here and it'll undo. See? With 2 fingers, it'll undo. And then with 3 fingers, it'll redo. Well, it should theoretically redo. Yeah, so that is one thing. Yeah, there we go. I do find it a little bit more responsive on the actual remarkable platform, the 2-finger, 3-finger. Here it does work, but I've found sometimes it gets missed gestures. Maybe that's something that they can fix with software updates, but we should see. Hopefully when that when they push a few more. I think the last update I got was like a week ago, maybe. Okay, we got some more questions here. If not HM2, then what pen suggest to use on AI paper for better writing feel? Thanks for your help. So, Mayuresh, I apologize if I mispronounce your name, but you know, the Remarkable 2 marker does feel good on here. But like I was telling Zenless Z earlier, the Remarkable 2, if I go the pen, if I go to like the tilt support, it is not as good as the standard one. So you'll see here, I can't really get that light. But if you're writing, that's not really an issue, right? Like I'll show you maybe a fine liner or the calligraphy. That's on the Marker Plus. And so like things like that are going to work fine. So if you're just note taking, you know, the Remarkable 2 pen is good. The Kindle Scribe Premium pen would be good. And this is the Remarkable base pen with a titanium nib. Works fine, although I do not recommend using titanium nibs on this because this is a Mobius screen and it is softer than glass screens, so you are likely going to scratch it at some point. Let's see, Shajib. I saw feedback on Shop saying the buttons were getting stuck periodically. Is that the case? Shajib, could you elaborate on that? Are you talking about the button on the marker, or are you talking about the button on top, or are you talking about the buttons, the like digital buttons on bottom? Oh, Sister Parfums, thank you so much. That's very nice of you. I hope this was helpful for you. Let's see, what else did you say? So yeah, Shajib, if you can clarify that, it will create an app on the tab and then add Aurora Store. So Sister Parfums, basically what you're gonna do, and just go back and watch the section I showed, but basically you're gonna search for F-Droid, install the APK, and then once you install the APK, it'll guide you through it all. It's not a difficult process to follow, but install the APK, and then in F-Droid you will probably find a lot of the apps you want in there. But if you want more apps, then search for Aurora Store in F-Droid in the app, and then just download Aurora Store there, and that will get you pretty much any app that you want. And if you don't, you know, if you have problems, just leave a comment below when this recording's done, and you can I'll find you there, and I'll let you know how to do it if you can't get it. Shajib PK on the bottom. No, I've never had that happen. I have, like, once in a while when I was sketching. Let's see. So let me get out of here. One thing I did notice is I think I dropped a little water on it the other day, and that was interfering with the kind of system there. But like the AI button, what is the weather like today in Boston, Massachusetts? What's the weather like in Boston, Massachusetts today? Of course, when I do a live, it doesn't work. It literally works all the time. Um, so yeah, like the buttons, the actual, this one, if you hold it, I don't know if you're referring to this getting stuck, but if you hold that one, it will show you the all the tabs you have open, like I was showing earlier. The AI button is you can either tap it and then it'll open up the AI aspect, or if you hold it, it'll like learn or hear automatically. The back button is a single tap. I think they should configure a long gesture here. I think I was watching Voya's My Deep Guides video, and he was like, you should, I think they should give the option to disable the AI button. That should be something you should opt into or opt out of, even though it's called the Viwoods AI paper. Like, that should be something that's your option, your choice, I think. But he was saying like a long hold on the back button would be nice to do a refresh. So you can manually do a refresh here, and it'll, once you have ghosting, it'll just clear all of that. But that's a missed opportunity, I think, for them. And maybe they could add this, but like holding that for like 2 seconds and that having that do a refresh would be super cool, instead of having to drop down and then tap refresh. It would just be more intuitive because it's kind of closer to your hands. Oh, I can try that, Shajib. Let's go. So when I'm using the stylus, oh, that was interesting. It rotated that. Let me restart this. So this is a fingerprint for anyone that didn't notice it earlier. So let me try that again. So I'm writing. Yeah, it looks like it'll override that. So what about AI? And back. Yeah, so Shajib, it seems like it overrides, which actually I think is a good thing, because like when I've been sketching before, I think there have been times that when I lifted my hand, I accidentally pressed one of them, and that I think is good, right? So if I'm just drawing here, and I'm like really getting into the shape of the guy's like head and stuff, then I'm not going to actually activate this, which I think is a good thing. But that's actually a good point. I think that should all be configurable. But I also, Shajib, maybe, thanks for the super, by the way. Very, very kind of you. But Shajib, also, like, I'm curious your thoughts. What would be your use case for like when you're writing to use one of these buttons? Or maybe like do that and then like activate the AI. I'm not sure. I'd be interested to hear what your thought process is there. And here, let me go back here. What version of ChatGPT are you? So sending now. Now it's working, of course. This is it should be 3.5, I think. So it says 4. Okay, so this is interesting because when I watched Jeffrey Moss's video, it said ChatGPT 3, and then Voya's video on My Deep Guide. Oh, sorry, my camera went off. Apologies, guys. I'm not sure where I lost you, but I was just showing. I'll just go back a second because I'm not sure where I lost you there. But I was just showing like if you're drawing here, you're drawing like finishing the shape of the head, for example, or drawing something here, like while holding it is not working. Quick switching between home or navigation purposes. Okay, so you can do, like, you can hold here and you can quick switch, right? So I can go back to the AI tool I was on. I can go back to, let me close Aurora. I think my Libby is still open. So I can go back to my Libby, and you can see in real time the speed of how it's loading here. This is not the speed of the e-ink screen, it's the Libby app, just for reference. That is slower because it's connecting to the internet and stuff, and it's re-downloading the magazine, I think. but yeah, that pulled that up. And so you can quick switch between that stuff for navigation purposes. But like I was saying, okay, so for Jeffrey Moss's video, I think he did his a while ago on the AI, so it was ChatGPT 3, and then Voyo's was like a couple weeks ago, and it was, he said in the video, he said like the day before I tested it was 3.5, or it was 4, and then the day he put the video out it was 3.5. But this is on the newest software, so it looks like it is ChatGPT 4 architecture, which is good. I think in Voya's video, he mentioned like this missed the mark because it's 3.5, but it appears to be 4. So I'm not 100% sure the difference is. Maybe it was on 3.5 and it was on 3 before that, and they've just been upgrading it as the actual kind of updates to the firmware have come out. That's certainly a possibility. Also, Shajib, did I answer your question, or do you want me to talk about that a little bit more for like quick switching and stuff? Let's go back here. Yeah, let's try. Also, if you guys have any like questions or things you want me to show you on the AI tool, just drop them in the chat, and I'll give that a shot. Okay, so one thing I didn't mention earlier, I think, and this is probably set in stone, I would imagine, but I would have liked for the brightness option to have like a color temperature adjustment. It doesn't, but that being said, when you get it really dim, like here, let me turn the light off here quickly. Maybe you can see this a little better. Let's turn this one off too. So you can see it is a relatively blue light, but it does get slightly, it changes slightly on the Kelvin scale, I think, as you get lower, but it's not like, it never gets to be like a warm light. But if you have it, and it's not very bright in here, guys, right now. So brightness 1 is very dim. So if you go like brightness 2 or 3 in the pitch black, it is not very jarring on the eyes at all. And so that is a good feature. But I would have, it would have been nice to see some color temperature adjustment there. So I'll get these lights back on. Let the camera adjust. Okay. And then another feature for the AI tools is, let me delete some of this stuff. So we'll lasso it. All right, we're going to delete that. And let's go to the AI tool here. So analyze content. Okay, so while it's doing that, it's generating. And okay, I don't know if you can read this because it's kind of fine text, and normally live streams aren't the best for quality. Let me see if I can zoom. So image depicts a stylized drawing of a human face, combining both artistic expression and foundational techniques often used in figure drawing. Form and structure, the head rendering with the round shape, facial features, line quality, varying thickness. Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty useful. Like if you're, let's say you were looking at a PDF and you wanted to analyze content. Actually, that's something I haven't tried. Let's try that in a second. So you can also generate an article. You can do AI text conversion. So this is these two circular kind of the oval and the circle. I think it's called the Loomis method. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's what it's called. But it's a method of proportioning the head. You can see the gray lines. So like there, you can see you can create circles, and these I obviously did with shape snapping because they're perfect circles, and then these I kind of did by hand. But yeah, really, really cool. And let's bring this back. So actually that brings me to two other things I want to try really quick. So in the PDFs, I've actually never tried AI in PDFs. So this is I think this is the Viwoods manual. Let's go to a page where we can maybe Can we try AI? No, it doesn't appear to give you any option. Maybe, hold on, let's see. AI, all right, here we go. Let's see, AI assistant. Not sure what this does, I've never tried it. Send to message assistant. So I'm just basically sending that PDF page. So where could this come in handy? Let's say you are using a PDF of like a instruction manual, right? And one of the pages is just really complicated. You're not able to figure out exactly what's going on. So you just throw this in here, and then it will summarize to you what's going on that page. So that's kind of neat, and it looks like you can do that in PDFs. So I do want to do a short video where I show specifically like the useful features of the AI in here. So I'll certainly add this because I do think that's a useful way of using the AI. But that's an option there. And so yeah, you can try that. And then I will show you one more thing. Let me go back to the yoga here. There's like a laptop review I'm working on. And so I've been doing some benchmarking. Now let's see I'm actually curious to see what it pulls out of here. So let's analyze this content and see what comes out. Right, we got some more questions. Quick switching between home or navigation purposes. Okay, yeah, that helps a lot. Appreciate it. Is it possible to log into your own ChatGPT account? Not sure if you covered. I joined a bit late. That I am not sure, Shajib. That's a good question. Like I just said, I'm going to be doing an AI separate video. I've been mostly using the AI on this casually. I've just really been enjoying the screen, so I've been using it a lot for Libby, some note taking, and some sketching. But the AI is something I still want to dig into more. And I've been waiting too because the software has been making like pretty good strides in the updates. And so I didn't really want to review the AI right away because I thought it was going to be a little premature. But it is using 4 now, it's saying, so maybe now is a good time to review it, and I'll probably do a little quick video of that. So I'll make sure to answer that question, Shajib, of whether or not you can log into your own ChatGPT account, because that is very useful. If you're someone that uses that consistently, then it will have your history, and it'll probably learn more from your language model, right? And then, do you think we can use regularly any ceramic pen like the one from Supernote on the Viwoods? So I don't know, Sister Perfumes, if you saw that earlier, but and I tried it here. This was actually with the Heart of Metal pen, and this was with the Viwoods pen, and it did work well. Like I actually got shading on it. I'll show you right there. So, but I wouldn't recommend this, Sister, because it is a glass screen, so this one's more durable than this one, but at the same time, like it is not gonna be like, it's possible for you to scratch it. So don't try it unless you maybe get a screen protector, then you might be fine, but I would not recommend that. And this is the only time I'm going to do this, but I will try this really quickly on the Mobius screen. So it does work, and let's see, I got to look in the light. I did not scratch that. Yeah. But I'm a pretty light writer, so the chances of me scratching something I think are pretty low. People who really, let's erase here, and then I'll be able to see better if I scratched it. No scratching there. Yeah. So anyways, you can use it. I would definitely recommend a screen protector if that's the route you choose to go, but it is a possibility. And sorry, I think I X'd out of the analyze content, but do you think good tilt support for third-party EMRs can be added via software update? That's interesting because it is a possibility, but I do wonder if that would happen because the actual Viwoods pens, these tips they make are completely proprietary to their pen. Like this will not fit in the Remarkable pen. Either of them, it will not fit in the Kindle Scribe pen. It has its own way of clasping in. Like I had mentioned, I can pull it out. You just saw I pulled it out and put it back in on my own. Whereas these pens, you actually need a tool. Like you need a little pull tool to pull them out. So, Zenless, my guess is maybe I think there will be third-party EMR pens that will have tilt support on this, but I don't think that like an existing one, you would be able to get an update where it would change. This is speculation on my part, but that's my guess. So, like this Remarkable pen, I don't believe it would ever really have good shading on this, but it's possible that either they release more pens or other people release pens that are specifically made for the AI paper. That remains to be determined, but certainly a possibility. Okay, we got a network error. Is my network down? Well, no, because the live stream's going. Let me check. Let's see. Hey, Vlad got home late. I was looking forward to this all day. My question is, have you tried this device with MS Office apps? No, I have not yet, but I do know from Kit that they work well. We talked about, I think we did a live stream like a month ago maybe, and he mentioned that he had good success on the Office apps. I will likely try that. I can maybe update you guys when I do test that out. So I don't know if you saw there, Shajib, you do need to use the AI feature. Like on the mini here, I have not logged in because I've just been using this for like reading more, but you do need to log into chat here. So that is something to notice. But I don't think that's logging into your chat GPT account. But like I said, I will test that when I actually do my full AI review of this. I've ordered a mini and my assumption is there is no auto sync between multiple devices like mini and AI paper. When I reached out, they spoke about V-Transfer app and one-click transfer. That's something I want to test too. Like I mentioned, I have not logged into the AI features here because I did it on purpose because this I've just been using for reading, and so I can put stuff on there, but I don't need to like actually use AI on here. I've been using that on this, and I also wanted to see the differences of like the device without AI and the device with AI, so that's kind of why I did it. I will likely log in here soon because I do need to update the device. This one's running an older firmware than this one. This is on the latest one right now. And so this actually brings me to something I wanted to try. I want to close out of all the apps here. And I wanted to show you handwriting. So with the styluses, or styli, I wanted to show you the difference between the soft nib, the hard nib, for example, because there is a little bit of a difference. One's slipperier. Oh, there goes the camera. Let's get that back on. One is slipperier, and let's get the brightness up here. Okay, so let's start a new page. This is how you start it. You swipe, and then you just go plus. So now we have page 3 of 3, and you can see here you can toggle quickly. You can even, no, you can't like on the Remarkable, I guess. Okay, but all right. So we're gonna start off with the soft tip. So let's get a better pen tool. I will probably go. Let's go with the ballpoint pen. Let's go that width. Yeah. So there's erasing, and it feels good. Like the soft tip does feel good. You know, when I do a full review of it, I don't want to do a full review of this until the device is actually out on the market and available to the public. That's why I kind of just been doing some like content on it, like sketching and the Carta 1300 panel. But the soft tip is a generally pretty good writing experience. It has a good feel. You'll see now I'm going to use the hard tip. This is and it's the same pen. Oh, sorry. This is on the hard tip. So I don't think it affects your handwriting too much, but it is a little slipperier. So like you can see my H, the line there is a little slipperier in that one. The T is a little more like jagged than that one. Things like that, but it's not a deal breaker by any means, I don't think. Like in terms of, because I think they give you 10 tips of this, so that should, you know, last you a while. And then I think you might get 1 or 2 hard tips, I think, with it. Mine only came with 3 because it was everything that was in the package. So it was the 2 that are, you know, set in here, and then the 1 on the pen. But that's yeah. So that's on here. Let me. So this is soft tip. This is hard tip. Now we'll do this. Oh, wow. This is the same pen. That's crazy. Look how much, that's how much pressure support this doesn't have. Look how much darker that is than that. So this is on RM2 marker. And then this is same thing, titanium tip. I actually like the way that writes though. That's interesting. And then this is, okay, this is the last time I'm going to do it. I mean, it works. The ceramic tip actually works well on this. I'm really surprised because when I put Feel Right 2 on my Remarkable, that did not work at all. I mean, well, sorry, no, it works. It doesn't work in terms of the tilt support. So I'll turn this on. When this gets on, I'll show you. But yeah, this is the Remarkable titanium tip and ceramic tip. So you can see some of the differences there. But which one feels the best? I mean, honestly, let's see that. This feels pretty good on it. It glides a little bit because it's metal on like a plastic, but the the Remarkable 2 felt tip doesn't feel great on it. So that makes me think that this feels a little better. Yeah, that makes me think they're using a slightly different material on the actual tip here. All right, let's see. We have some more questions. All right, you can only transfer using a website. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna create an app, because I did email them. I was like, do you guys have an app? And they were like, no, there's the V-Transfer system. So the V-Transfer system, I think you're able to like set the time that it deletes. So after a certain bit, it will actually delete that content, which is, you know, good for your privacy and all that. But there is no like continuity of saving stuff, right? So let's say I had multiple devices. I do need to test the sync still, but it's not going to be like, oh, I create a new document or I download a PDF on this large AI paper into my thing, and then it will like go into my V-Transfer account, and then I can just like transfer it. I don't think that's the way. I think it's more of like a push-pull system where you upload something, you download something, kind of like that. And I have used it. It works well. Like it is quick and effective. Let's see. Very important question. Are the notes already dated? Because I missed this in my Remarkable. Can't find it on the top of the screen each time. Here, let's see. So this is a template that I used for the, yeah, it dates it. It looks really sharp. This was on 10/3/2024, so like 2 weeks ago. puts the time even. Um, yeah. So some of the templates that have name and date up there, and then the name, I'm sure you've probably seen this if you've watched content on this, but the naming is smart. So if you look at this, the naming is what you put on the top of the page. So 2024 yoga, it put QI, but it's 9I. And then Remarkable Paper Pro, for example. All right, one more question. Let's see. I have RM2 for documentation and all other purposes. So far I love the Supernote for the writing feel and organization. Looking forward to Supernote A6X2. Haven't decided on getting AI paper. Yeah, I mean, RM2 is great for documentation. I think you're, Shajib, are you mentioning the A5X2, the bigger, one that's going to use the same screen as this? Because if so, yeah, I'm super excited for that too. If you couldn't tell, I've made a lot of content on that already and it hasn't even come out. Let's see. So, professional notes and access for Kindle reading and light back. My only fear is that the type of menu might look definitely busier, more confusing because of the size. I'll say this about Viwoods. Like, this is not a product that's like really out on the market yet. It's starting to come out, and like people that are backing, like I know Jeffrey Moss backed it on Kickstarter. He was a very early backer, and he just got his this week from the Kickstarter campaign. But I will say, for a company that just came out, it is remarkably pretty polished. Like, I like these little sections. I think it's kind of like a nice home interface. That's something that like the Supernote does not have, right? If you pop into the Supernote, let's turn this on. Like, there is no, this is the home screen, right? Basically, it's your equivalent of the home screen. There's no like going back out. You can go to like your file system, and you can go files, for example, but that's just a file interface. So, sister, I think I like where this is. The one thing I think is a little redundant is that the main screen here, all of these little devices, or like the kind of pictures, they're duplicated here. But I get that some people like quick access and not having to look here maybe. So I think they could maybe like simplify it a little bit, but I find it to be pretty intuitive, and I didn't find the learning curve to be that much, honestly. It was relatively straightforward. Like maybe like the pickings and like stuff was like maybe a trickier thing to learn, but it's really not that difficult. And I do like their implementation of the calendar. So if I go back here on the daily, let's go, I think, back a month when I was using it. Yeah. So, see what date are we on? Let's go to August. So here I had like a to-do list for the day. And then the cool thing is you can organize, you can get a daily report on your meeting notes, which is interesting. I'm really curious to see how their implementation of the calendar improves with the AI features. That'll be something I'm curious to see. And oh, here we go. We lost the camera again. Okay, yeah, sister, that's interesting. I love the Viwoods welcoming homepage. I think, if anything, I think this is something you should be able to customize, right? Because there are certain people that might not, they might not use apps at all. They might just use this as a note-taking device. There are some people that might not use the calendar, and just timed out. That might not use the calendar and don't want that. So in that case, like in maybe splitting this in 4, where you had like meeting, paper, learning, and pickings would be more apt. So I think that's something that like you should be able to customize, because everyone's needs for these devices are different, right? Some people might actually only use this for an e-reader and like occasionally take notes, or maybe they just want to annotate on like on PDFs or something, like, right? So very, very different use cases for everyone. And I think, I'm sure they're very busy on like pushing out devices now. and working on their software updates just to make sure there are like no glitches or anything. But that's something I'd like to see in the future, is some more customization of the actual home screen. For example, picking note being replaced with emails would have been great for me on one page and not missing any email related to my work activities and my notes. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. That's probably the same use case for me. And let me see, what else did I have listed here for things? For note taking, let's create a new note here. And so, sister, you were asking about the date. Like there is 10/16, 5:24. We are on East Coast time here, so it automatically populated that. And I will use this, and I'll do like live stream note. And I did pretty poor handwriting, so I'm curious to see if it gets that right. Live stream note. Did it perfectly. Did it right away, right? And one more thing. I just want to go back here and do the analyze content. But yeah, one thing I want to show you after I'm done with this is in the paper app is I just want to show you the templates they have, because I think they do have a good amount of templates, and they have some interesting ones that that I haven't seen in other devices. So this was the benchmark testing of the graph, and this was I haven't done this before, so I'm actually curious to see this myself. The image presents a performance test of the laptop, likely referring to a specific benchmark of the year. And I'm actually curious if it does any analysis on here. Okay. Multiple columns. Scores under CBR 23 are generally higher than those under CBR 24. That makes sense because it's more intensive. Application tests including Blender and Houdini, which are commonly in graphics 3D, showcase laptops. Geekbench. The mentions score. Okay, so this is what's interesting, the interpretation. Let's see how it interpreted this data on this little kind of graph or table that I put. Report provides comparative data that can help potential buyers or reviewers understand how the Yoga 9i laptop performs against specific tasks over 2 testing years. Oh, okay. So that's interesting. Like this laptop's only been out 6 months. That threw me off for a sec. But I think it's doing 2 testing years because I did CBR 23, which is Cinebench R23, and Cinebench R24. So it's assuming that it was over 2 years. The change in benchmark scores from CBR 23 may indicate advancements or regressions in performance. That's not super useful because, well, I guess I see how it interpreted that as, because CBR 23 is less intensive, and the number went up in CBR 24, so maybe that's why it's assuming that. This documentation aids in evaluating laptop suitability. Okay, so for this table specifically, and this table is not continued, it's not completed actually, so I'm still working on it. So maybe that could be why it's like not giving conclusive results. But it did look like it interpreted the data pretty well. So that's something I'm going to play around with the AI. I want to build a more like a actual useful table, and like a table that's completed, and see, like I'll have conclusive results of what that table is showing, and I'll see if the AI is able to analyze that. That I think is interesting, because that could be a potentially very useful use for the AI. Please show the difference presentation between folder and notes. Thanks a lot. Okay, yeah, so really quickly, I just want to go back on the live stream here. So I want to go to templates. I'll get to that in a second. So here are some of the templates. You can see there's the pretty basic ones, like the graphs and all that. There's the dots, which is useful for grid pattern things. And there are layers in if you want to see the layer, I talk about that a lot more in my sketching review of this. But all right, so then they have like these quadrant analyses. They have some interesting ones. I'm not sure what these are for. I've never seen these before. They have Chinese grid character stuff. They have who, what, where, why, when, how, the 5WH analysis. They have matrix analyses, PEST, PEST, which is politics, economy, society, technology. PDCA, like product stuff. They have, let me show you this, like a competitive matrix, a GE matrix, competitive position, and the market attractiveness. So these are cool. These are templates that you can get on other devices because you could make your own and download like PDFs and stuff. But they do have the most variety of built-in options that I've seen. They have the golden circle, logo design. They have perspective grid, which, oh man, I wish I knew that because I would have played around with that for drawing. But maybe I'll do that when I do my full review. And then let's go a little lower. They even have like if you're they have a Sudoku grid, music. If you're like into menswear fashion or women's wear, they have male and female models, so you can just draw clothing around them, which is pretty cool. And then, you know, the customize option where you can import templates at the W or vertical WQHD format there. So Shajib, I really like the refresh option on Supernote compared to going to the menu to do so. Viwoods does seem promising if they're able to keep polishing the features. Yeah, so Shajib, like I mentioned, I really like the refreshing of the ghosting here. We just swipe up and does an instant refresh. But that's certainly something that they can add here. Like we were talking about the back button where it just goes back. If you were to hold that for 2 seconds, that could do a refresh. Or if, let's say you were someone that didn't want to use the AI button, didn't want AI features at all, they should give you the option to customize that AI button so that you hold or tap the AI button and it does a refresh instantly, right? IPF as custom template. Okay. Show the difference between print. Okay, so I actually have not done any folders here, but it kind of created. So these are, let's see what quick notes. These are two that I just kind of did, but sketching. Let's see. Let's go to the sketching view. So that just created that. So I have not used the folder system in here, sister, but you can see kind of what it's like. So it created these already. You can see there's 0 papers in these, but it has pre-classified folders already. So there's a thinking, a sketching, a writing, and an analyzing, and then unclassified notes. Those that I currently have are in unclassified. So actually I'm interested now if I can add any of those into, so let's say that live stream note we just made with this custom template. How do I add this to a folder? Let's see. That added a page. This is the tag system you're talking about. Let's do a test. Okay, so we have a test tag in here. Interesting. So I'm not seeing a way to add it to a folder. Maybe if I go to the folder and then let's say this was a thinking one. No, it's just adding a page. So let's see if I hold it maybe. Let's move. Yeah, there we go. That's how you do it. Okay, so we'll put this in thinking. And now if I go back to my folders, you can see in thinking we have 1 paper, and I can tap into the folder system and go to my live stream note there. So sister, hopefully that answers your question of the folder view versus the paper view. And as you saw, it's dating everything as we create new notes and everything. So hopefully that is helpful for you. All right, guys. Well, we're reaching an hour and a half here. Thank you for all the comments. You guys, it sounds like you guys are pretty excited. Sister, I'd love to know how you get along with your mini when it comes. I think you made a good choice. It sounds like for your needs, you know, the portable aspect is something you'll enjoy. But yeah, if there are any last minute questions, I'm happy to answer that. Otherwise, we will sign off in a second. And let's go here. Let's go back to the page here real quick. So let's see what the prices are. There also, by the way, I'll put a code in the kind of description or the comments. If you are looking at getting this device, they have offered a $50 discount for my viewers. So I'll put that down there. It looks like the Viwoods AI Mini Paper is $399 right now. I think the discount only applies for over 500. So if you're getting the Viwoods AI Paper, not the Mini, that would bring it down to 500 from 550. So it's already discounted. I don't really believe these. It's kind of like the Amazon tactic where they list something at maybe the retail price or even higher than it was or would be, and then they put the price. So maybe, you know, I could see it maybe being a little higher eventually, but if you do want to use that $50 discount, you can put that below, and I'll put that below, and you can use that if you'd like. But let's see, any last questions? We're ready to go live, and let us implement some questions we do have. Yes, sister, of course. Happy you guys commented. You know, these I do have topics that I want to talk about, but it's always more interactive and more fun when you guys give me stuff. Like I even learned some stuff throughout this live stream, and that's the goal of them. So the live streams will definitely keep coming. I'll probably do one on this Pen Star at some point. That is, you know, it's an interesting device. Doesn't have touch. I'll put it here. Sorry, interesting device. Doesn't have touch, and it has a proprietary pen, kind of like the Viwoods, but different technology. But I will certainly do some more on this, and I would love to do one at some point too. If you guys are new to my channel, I do more long-term reviews. So if I do aspects on a device, I will typically do like a specific aspect on the device, and then after like I've done and like learned a lot about the device, I will then do a long-term review. So like the Remarkable Paper Pro, I'll plan a long-term review of too, but there are certainly things I'd like to talk about on it in the meantime. So, you know, I could maybe do live streams on that. And I'll certainly, I think the first video I've planned is sketching on this, because I have actually really been enjoying the sketching aspect on it. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I am, but I do like it, and I do think the color adds, you know, a different aspect to it that maybe Kaleido screens don't give fully. So anyways, yeah, I'll definitely keep doing more live streams, and hopefully I can get some more actual like interfaces. I'd love to. I've been working with some people on the E-team. That is Ed from Organizing for Change, Jeffrey Moss from his channel, and Roderick from Rants About Tech. And so I'm, you know, learning a little bit more about live streaming, and I want to be able to bring your comments on the screen so that people are more aware of what I'm talking about if they're not following alongside the chat. Shajib, thank you so much, man. That's awesome. Hopefully you guys you know, can tune into some other live streams. I'd love to see you there again. But anyways, that is all for now. Thank you all so much, and I'll have